How do you build a perfect government when you know people aren't perfect? Well, in Federalist number 37, my buddy James Madison pauses the political debate and asks a deeper question. How can a nation design a constitution that's both strong enough to govern and flexible enough to last? I'm Matt Hasquin. I'm a high school history and civics teacher, and we're taking a journey through all 85 of the Federalist Papers, and we're up to number 37. And we're going to welcome back James Madison to the chat. So by January of 1788, the ratification debates over the Constitution were pretty fierce. You had supporters and critics of the Constitution that were arguing every clause, every phrase in the document. And Madison was exhausted, but he was reflective, and he steps in to remind readers that the real wonder isn't that the Constitution has flaws, it's that it has so many conflicting ideas could ever unite into one document at all. And so he's asking the nation to see the Constitution not as a finished machine, but as a living act of compromise and reason. So Madison's thesis is rather humble, but it's got it's profound too. He writes, "It's impossible for the man of pious reflection not to perceive in it a finger of that almighty hand which has been so frequently extended to our relief in the critical stages of the Revolution." So Madison's arguing that the Constitution's success, born from months of debate and disagreement, was nothing short of providential, and that the framers faced clashing interests and regional rivalries and human limitations, and yet they somehow created balance. Madison begins with something deceptively simple: words. He points out that even the clearest laws are open to interpretation because language itself is imperfect. Once again, Madison writes, "All new laws, though penned with the greatest technical skill, are considered as more or less obscure and equivocal until their meaning be liquidated and ascertained by a series of particular discussions and adjudications." So the translation here is that no document can anticipate every question, and clarity emerges only through practice. And that's why flexibility is built into the Constitution's design. So Madison acknowledges that reason itself has limits. Even the wisest minds that were in Philadelphia could not escape any error or bias. And Madison will say that the challenge was not to build a perfect government, but to build one that could correct itself over time. And so the Constitution's strength lies not in certainty, but in the Constitution's adaptability. So Madison goes back to highlight the framers' most difficult task, and that is to balance the energy of government with the security of liberty. Too much energy leads to tyranny, and too little leads to anarchy. And so the Constitution's genius then is that it divides power, not to weaken the government, but to make it responsive, self-regulating, and durable. He'll call it, in his essay, the requisite stability and energy needed. So Madison then marvels at how 13 diverse states, large and small, slave and free, commercial and rural, could ever agree on a single framework. He doesn't see compromise as weakness. He sees it as civilization. That's what he's looking at. Once again, he says the convention must have compelled to sacrifice theoretical propriety to the force of the extraneous considerations. I'll translate again here. Reason alone didn't make the Constitution. Humility did. So, Madison's logic, his chain of reasoning, like we've done with Hamilton. He says, one, that human reason and language are imperfect. And then he'll say the framers faced countless conflicting interests. And through compromise, they achieved stability and energy in balance. So the Constitution's flexibility allows it to adapt to future challenges. And so, finally, its creation, against all odds, reflects both human wisdom and providence. And so, there's Federalist number 37 in 5 easy steps. Now, his tone here in this essay is borderline spiritual because he blends reverence for the Constitution with realism about human limits. He's not glorifying government, he's actually honoring cooperation. So, in an age of division, his essay kind of reads like it's a plea for perspective. That he then goes on to almost like making his deeper point almost a moral one. And that is the Constitution works because it's not perfect, but because it invites participation, correction, and renewal. Its imperfections aren't defects, they're actually doorways for progress. And so he reminds readers that self-government demands patience, humility, and hope. So Madison's reflections then feel timeless. Every generation revisits the Constitution with frustration, asking, why isn't it clearer? Why isn't it faster? Why isn't it simpler? Well, his answer, written 237 years ago, still resonates because clarity without flexibility would break the Republic the first time it was tested. The Constitution endures not because it's flawless, but because it's forgiving. So, our takeaways here today. Language and reason are imperfect, but cooperation can overcome those imperfections. The Constitution's balance of energy and stability is deliberate, and its endurance proves that flexibility is a feature and not a flaw. So, Federalist number 37 is Madison's kind of quiet masterpiece. It's a meditation on the miracle of agreement in a divided world. He reminds us that the Constitution is not a monument to certainty, but it's a living experiment in trust. So, its perfection lies in its humanity, and its humanity is what makes the Constitution eternal. I'm Matt Hasquin, and this was another one of those things that we should all know just by being alive. If this episode helped you see why compromise is a cornerstone to democracy, well, hey, share it, repost it, follow me, but whatever you do, hang around because Federalist number 38 will come up tomorrow. And this is where we're going to stay with James Madison, and he's going to continue this reflection asking, well, whether any other nation has ever attempted to do something so bold. Thanks for hanging around this long, and I'll see you on the next one.